Welcome to my video on 5 easy tips on how to write melodies. These are going to include using the pentatonic scale, explaining the difference between steps and leaps, understanding rhythms, and how to write blues licks and how to create jazzy sounds using the pentatonic scale to create a melody. The pentatonic scale includes the first, second, third, fifth and sixth notes of the scale. And firstly, a bit of housekeeping. I want to show you how to write ghost notes of the pentatonic scale in order to aid your creation of a melody. So I'm going to draw in the pentatonic scale pattern, and then I'm going to draw the minor pentatonic scale. So we're going to go to this drop down menu here. We're going to go to helpers and ghost channel. Here I've got my pentatonic scale, and using any of these notes for the major here on the left and the minor on the right, and we'll make an awesome melody and it will always sound really good. Playing around on the pentatonic scale will always sound good. Why is that? Well, excuse me for a second while I get my geek on. It's theory time. Because what we've done is we've removed the 4th and the 7th note from the scale. These two notes, when played together, create a discord. In fact, it is such an unpleasant discord that to the monks of the Middle Ages, this interval was called the Diabolus in Musica, the devil in the music. The devil is in fact a discord created when the 4th and the 7th notes are played either together or one after another. This interval, or the distance between the two notes, has its own special name called the tritone. It is named that because the distance between the two notes is 3 whole tones. Whenever this occurs in music, this is the Diabolus in Musica, the devil in the music. It can be used to create some really nice horror and suspense style sounds, but it's not good when we're creating nice flowing poppy even melodies pleasing on the ears. Second tip, I'm going to be explaining the melody building devices, steps and leaps. A step is any movement using a half or whole step. For example, you can see here I've created a melody solely of steps, moving up or down whole notes each time. Leaps is any movement using an interval larger than a whole step. So any jump of 3 half notes or above. And here you can see I've created a melody purely out of leaps. When you are building your melody, you want to have a variant of a couple of steps followed by a leap, or the other way around. It is boring on the ear to have too many steps, as you center around only one tonal part of the scale. It is also not pleasing on the ear to have several leaps one after another, as our ear finds it difficult to predict where we are going to next play. It is worth noting that predictable music is pleasing. A good example of a combination would be here, where we have 3 step notes at the start, 1 leap, a step, and then a leap. Tip 3 is to repeat your rhythm pattern but change your notes. The next tip is quite simple, and that is to find a rhythm of notes which you like, and then repeat this rhythm, but change the notes you're using. This gives our ear a pleasing amount of variation and repetition at the same time. Rhythm is often understated, but is actually the most important tool for creating a catchy riff. If you think of some of the most catchy songs you know, chances are you can tap them out and they will be recognisable. These songs do not need notes to be played, just rhythm. So in my example here, I have a rhythm where I have 3 steps, a leap and a step. I'm going to take this rhythm and copy it across to each bar, but I'm going to change the notes. And now you can start to see that the rhythm pattern is repeated. The notes have been changed, but the rhythm stays the same in each bar. You can see we have short, 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 long, long. For tip number 4, I want to introduce some blues. I'm going to show you how you can create a blues lick very easily. First of all, we're going to change up our ghost notes from the pentatonic scale to a very basic blues scale. Starting on C as our root note, and you can use any root note, just copy this pattern. We're going to go up 1 half to 3 half notes, and then we're going to go up 1 whole note, up a half note, up 3 half notes, and this gives you a basic blues scale. Now using our ghost notes, we're going to create a lick, something like this. Playing around on these notes will add an element of blues to your melody when creating it over a major chord progression. And one other thing to add in is the slides from the black notes up to the next white notes. In the C blues scale, the black notes you can use are E flat, G flat and B flat, or D sharp, F sharp and A sharp. You can play these on the piano, or if you want to program them into your DAW, the best way is to mirror what I have on the screen here, and you can see the distance between the two notes is small, but they are not right on top of each other. You need a bit of a gap to give that lazy feel of the slide. Also note the velocities on each note. The first note is not played as heavily as the second note. The second note is the destination note, so you're grace noting, which means it's a very slight note, slight play on the first note, on the sharp, on the black key, and the slide to the white key, which is the destination note, which is played at a higher velocity. I want to give you a quick transposing tip. Transposition is when you move a melody up or down a key. It's very easy to do in your DAW. I recommend composing your melodies in either C major or A minor if you are playing on the piano, as they are very easy to play because they are just simply all the white notes. Once you've composed your melody, you can then select the entire melody. You can transpose your melody one of two ways. You can either take the patterns I've told you and simply move them all up and down until the C at the bottom is on the destination key that you want to be in. For example, I have this blues lick in C, but if I was jamming along to a guitarist, the guitar is tuned in E. What I would want to do is move this blues pattern up to E. I've now shifted the entire pattern up to E, and I can carry on to create my blues melody in E. You can also do this once you've created the melody, just by simply selecting the entire melody and transposing it up. To do this in FL Studio, you just press Shift and up. The C has now reached E, which is my destination, as I want to be in the key of E. You can see all the notes have shifted up, and the pattern is now relative to E. It will work as a blues in E. And now my fifth and final tip is to add an element of jazz to your melody by including the 9th note in a scale. 9 notes? I know what you're thinking. Sounds crazy. I thought there were only 8 notes in the scale. Yep, you are right. Once we hit the 8th note, we are back to the first note. The 8th note is C again. So the 9th note, the next note up, is in fact just the 2nd note. So it's really simple to add an element of jazz to your music or chord progressions by simply including the 9th note within a chord or a melody made from a chord. There are 2 ways to include the 2nd note within a chord. You can either include it at the top of the chord as the 9th note, which will give you a lo-fi sound, or you can add it in between the 1st and the 3rd note in a chord, which would give you a more jazzy sound. Once you've played the chords, you can then break these up to create jazzy melodies using these notes over the top of chord progressions. Alright guys, that's all from me now. I hope you've really enjoyed these tips and tricks and get out there and put them to good use. Don't forget, Sonically's has got a massive bundle of piano, MIDI and WAVs available in ivory with authentic loops spanning 5 different genres. This pack is amazing. It is an unlimited supply of inspiration and I highly recommend you check it out.